Pilots, the FAA Reauthorization Act is here, and it's packed with changes that could affect how you fly. The big question is, are these changes good or are they bad? We've gone through the hundreds of pages so that you don't have to. And in this video, we'll break down the key changes that you need to know to stay in the loop. Hi, I'm Greg from Pilot Institute, the online ground school that makes aviation easy. So, what exactly is the FAA Reauthorization Act? Well, it's a group of laws that set the rules and the funding for US aviation for the next 5 years. It was passed into law in May of 2024, and for the first time ever, it actually includes a dedicated section for general aviation. The Act covers a wide range of topics, from airport upgrades to changes in medical regulations. Here are the 13 most important points that you need to know. Now keep in mind that the FAA is mandated to make these changes over the next 5 years, but they are not regulations just yet. And first up, airports. The Act authorizes a substantial $4 billion annually for airport improvement programs. For general aviation, the Act allocates $1 billion to support runway repairs, extension, and ramp upgrades at smaller airports. Now, the construction of new hangars and the enhancement of terminal facilities are also covered. But that's not all. The Act protects airports from closure if they've received FAA funding. Now, this makes it tougher for local pressures to limit operations or even shut them down entirely. Also, there's a push for sustainable innovation. The Act will bring solar-powered lights to general aviation airports that currently lack lighting systems. Another provision will also install electric aircraft recharging infrastructures at 10 different airports. Ever landed at an airport and been hit with unexpected FBO fees for fuel, parking, or even services? Well, you're not alone. And the Act addresses this frustration by mandating a government study aimed at making FBO fees more transparent. So no more unexpected charges or even confusing invoices. If you fly a piston aircraft that runs on 100 low-lead fuel, this one's important. The Act requires airport currently offering 100 low-lead to continue doing so until a safe, unleaded alternative is fully certified and available. Now, the industry plans to phase out leaded fuel by 2030. Now let's talk about some medical certification changes. And good news for the 80,000 pilots that are flying under BasicMed. The Act increases the maximum certified takeoff weight from 6,000 pounds to 12,500 pounds. The passenger limits also goes up from 5 to 6, and seat increases from 6 to 7. Now this means more opportunity to fly different aircraft and carry more friends or family along for the ride. Many of us know how confusing it can be to get a medical certificate. The Act's new Airman's Medical Bill of Rights ensure that pilots are informed and protected during the process. The FAA is tasked with creating a document outlining your rights before, during, and after a medical certificate. They must also include standard exam procedures so that you know what to expect. The Act also sets up an Aeromedical working group. Now, this team is tasked with reviewing and improving the FAA's medical certification processes. Their goal? To make the system faster and more efficient. And if you've ever waited months for a special issuance, you know how badly we need this. If you're gearing up for your check ride, this next one is big. The FAA is improving oversight of designated pilot examiners, or DPEs. The intention here is to make it easier and faster to find an examiner and complete your certification. This means no more waiting weeks or months just to get a test date. And here's one for flight instructors. The FAA is planning to remove the 2-year expiration date from CFI certificates. Now, instead, you will need to meet certain experience requirements in order to keep your certificate active. This hopefully means less paperwork and hassle in order to renew your certificate. Ever been frustrated by delays in registering an aircraft? Well, the FAA is now required to process airplane registration applications within 10 business days. This aims to clear up the backlog that's been causing headaches for pilots and flight schools. This next provision stems from a recent controversial FAA enforcement case. It involved a pilot who performed a low pass to inspect an off-airport landing strip. Now, the FAA subsequently suspended their pilot certificate. The enforcement action against that pilot still stands, but the Act has changed the rules. It is now harder for the FAA to use minimum altitude regulations against the pilots when such violations are necessary for a safe landing. Exciting news for the light sport pilots. The Act includes the FAA Modernization of Special Airworthiness Certificate. That's a mouthful. That's MOSAIC for short. Now, expected by the early to mid-2025, these updates bring major changes to light sport aircraft certifications. Gross weight limits rise from 1,320 pounds for land and 1,430 pounds for water to up to 3,000 pounds. The maximum clean stall speed increases also from 45 knots to 54 knots. LSAs can now have up to 4 seats, but sport pilots are still limited to carrying 1 passenger, but private pilots with a medical certificate can use all 4 of these seats. Now, they can also have retractable landing gear, variable pitch propellers, and a maximum speed of up to 250 knots. Also, they can perform aerial work like surveying or photography, provided that the pilot holds a commercial certificate. However, LSAs still cannot be used to carry passengers or cargo for hire. Next is a topic that sparked a lot of debate. Should the FAA raise the airline retirement age from 65 to 67? Now, the Act decided to keep it at 65. For pilots aspiring to enter the airline industry, this is good news. It ensures that there's going to be a steady demand for new airline pilots to fill all of the vacant seats. And lastly, an important update on privacy. The FAA is now prohibited from initiating investigation based solely on ADS-B out data. Now, this means that the data your aircraft broadcasts cannot be used as the only evidence for enforcement actions. So are these changes good or bad? Well, overall, we think they're great. We'll keep track of any updates, so subscribe to stay in the loop. Fly safe, and see you in the next one.